Today we're going to run through finding your VT1, your ventilatory threshold 1, and that is the point where your body is switching over between energy production systems, and you're using kind of a 50-50 balance between fat and carbohydrates as your energy source. And it also just happens to be the point at which it becomes more difficult to speak. So being able to talk in full sentences becomes challenging. That's about where your VT1 is. So if you want to do a VT1 test, one way to do it is on a treadmill, which is what I'm doing. You set yourself up at a pace which feels comfortable, a pace at which you can talk like I'm talking now, not too challenging to talk and to exercise at the same time. And you have some kind of heart rate monitor on my wrist, and you set your incline, you set your speed, and you run until your heart rate is more or less stable. At the moment mine's sitting at around 128. It's been sitting at 128 now for a couple of minutes. And then you increase either the incline or the speed. I'm going to increase the speed and leave my incline at 2. And then again you wait for your heart rate to settle, and you see how it is to speak. It's called the talk test, to see how easy it is to talk. So let's bump up my speed a little bit. Okay, so increase my speed slightly. Heart rate is picking up a little bit. So 130-ish. And at this new speed, in terms of being able to speak, it doesn't really feel too different. I feel like if you were running here with me, we could have a conversation, and I wouldn't have to be stopping like in the middle of sentences too much. The heart rate's still climbing slowly, 132 now. So I'm going to give it a little bit longer. Generally about a minute. 1 to 2 minutes is about the right amount of time to let your heart rate settle. 34. I also have the benefit in this demo of knowing roughly where my VT1 is, so I can start off closer to it. But if you're doing this for the first time, take it nice and easy. Start off at a nice comfortable pace, build up gradually, let your heart rate settle at each level, and talk about something, see how easy it is to talk. Now, when we get to our VT1, well, that is actually steady now. It's been steady for a little bit. I'm going to bump the speed up again. Looks like another mile per hour. See how we feel. Okay. So at the point where you are at VT1, this is the point where it just so happens that your body is switching the emphasis of the energy production systems, and you're using a roughly 50% split of fuel source between fat and carbohydrate. It's also the point where you'll start to feel your breathing change and to get more movement of the rib cage. And as I was saying earlier, being able to talk becomes more challenging, especially being able to talk in full sentences. Okay, so heart rate is up at 140 now. I'm going to give it a little bit to see if it keeps climbing or if it's going to settle. So all this test is really is just a way of benchmarking your cardiorespiratory fitness. 143, so we're still climbing. Okay, I might be able to go up one more level, 1 more mile per hour. But I think at that point I am going to start to struggle to speak in full sentences, but let's give it a go. Heart rate's somewhat steady. still on about 143, so let's bump it up. Of course, if you really wanted to, you could go in half mile per hour increments, but I'm not too concerned about that. Okay, so I can feel that the way that I'm breathing is actually changing now, and heart rate is bumping up to around 150. And I have to say that if I was having you running with me now, I can probably still talk, but as you can probably tell, longer sentences are going to become challenging if I wanted to go into detail. For example, about what I had for lunch. I'm going to be pausing to take breaths fairly frequently. So it's still at 150, which is good. Oops. 151. 150, 151. So it seems to be sitting fairly steady in terms of heart rate. But it's definitely getting to the point now where my speech is interrupted by my body's demands to both take oxygen in, but also to expel carbon dioxide. One of the things that I didn't really appreciate when I was starting my study to become a personal trainer is that the reason that we breathe so heavily when we're exerting ourselves for longer periods of time is actually not as much about getting oxygen in as it is about expelling carbon dioxide. Let's see, 153, 154, yeah. So I can still talk, it's not like I'm limited to single words. But it's definitely challenging. So, if this was my VT1, at this point I would stop. I would write down the incline that I was at, the speed that I was running at, and my heart rate was. And then, in a few months' time, I wanted to see whether my fitness had improved. I'd do the same exercise again, and I'd see, is my VT1 now at a higher work rate? So, am I running faster or at a steeper incline when I hit my VT1? And that's how to do the talk test, by using some kind of steady state adjustable exercise. Like I say, you can do this on a bike as well, because you can control resistance, speed, and some kind of heart monitor. Let me know if you have any questions on calculating your VT1 or how you use it. Bye.